Hi everyone. So today we are going to start putting everything together. So we're going to do our first draft of all of our scenes, so essentially of our entire story together. So I just want you to consider before you sit down and write, we've kind of done step one of the process. We're going to start step two. So which of these is more challenging for you? Coming up with the ideas or just making sure that you write enough once you start, that you have something to say about it and it actually comes out as something. So today our goal, what we're going to be focusing on is writing our first draft of our story and trying to focus that on scene. So through your storyboarding yesterday, you should have gone through and kind of really focused in on one image for each scene. That's what we're going to elaborate on today. So for this one, we've been doing a lot of work in our notebooks. Now we're going to move it to the computer. It's going to be a little easier to revise, to share our work there. So you should work in Microsoft Word. If you have another word processor that you prefer, you can do it there. You're going to type out your 5 separate scenes. Make sure that in there you show when one scene ends and when the next one begins. There should be a clear differentiation. We're not putting them all together yet. So you're not writing one whole story. You're writing 5 different scenes that we're eventually going to tie together. So put some spaces in between each one, draw a line, do ... You'll see on mine I do it by using bold and a heading for each one. Then each scene will be at least 150 words. So the idea is at the beginning we're typing a bunch out, and then at the end we can cut some stuff if we need to, if we end up adding more. So that number is just to get you to put down words, start writing. So I'm going to show you the process that I went through. I did it for my opening. You kind of have 2 or 3 resources that you can use to look at to kind of write yours. You have this outline that you did for each scene. You also have the original information you have on your character, and then obviously you have your storyboards that you did yesterday. The storyboard is the one that I'm going to focus in on the most, but I also want to look back at my outline and say, okay, where do I want to end this scene so that I can pick up and move smoothly into the next one. But I'm also going to talk about all the things that I outlined as important when I was doing my storyboard. So here's what mine came out to. I think it's 160-ish words, but my opening is Aiden in class. The clock stared at him from the wall. He glanced uncomfortably at his desk mate, wondering how he was able to look at one thing for so long. 2 pages, handwritten, the teacher repeated. Aiden didn't need to remind Mr. Truly that his handwriting was illegible. He knew his excuses never got him anywhere. 2 pages, more like 2 minutes, was the thought running through Aiden's head as the clock inched towards the end of class. The bell would ring, and he wouldn't have to worry about how many words or pages or syllables he would have to write. Freedom. Until the next class, of course. Don't forget were the last words Mr. Truly was able to get out before the bell cut him off. Chairs screeched, voices rose, and everyone began moving on to their next class. Aiden finished making a note in his planner and quietly snuck out before Mr. Truly could add more things for him to not forget. So that's my first scene. Again, you can see there's one image here. There's just one thing going on. That's what you should be focusing on in your scene, making sure that you're giving a lot of detail. Like almost nothing happens in mine. There's a lot of description. Aiden's sitting in class. I'm making sure to take my time. You can see that there's some paragraphs in there that just have a bunch of descriptions. So make sure that it's not all movement, that you have description going on in there. Aside from that, I don't want to talk too much about strategy. We'll do a lot of revision with these first drafts that we have. So however it comes out, write it however it's working for you. Make sure that you have those 5 separate scenes. It's clear where each one starts and ends. And I'm going to be looking at word count just because I want you guys to get a lot of stuff out at this point, and then we'll figure out what are we going to do with it. So again, today our goal is to write our first draft, get those stories out so that we can start making revisions throughout the week.